Let's talk temperature control and why it's so important to a successful drywall job. So when we're at this phase of the project, we really need to be working on having a steady, controlled environment for the best drywall finishing possible. Drywall board is made with gypsum, and gypsum will release and hold moisture depending on the environment. And then we're putting very wet mud on top. So it's really important that we're, number one, watching our humidity. So we either need to be running dehumidifiers, opening windows, making sure we're getting that moisture out of the room, out of the job, so everything's just not sitting there wet. What can happen is if you have wet on wet on wet, you end up with delayed shrinkage, you end up with starved joints, and you just don't want to be coating wet over wet. So it also will kind of make your job go longer and expand the job if you don't have proper dehumidifiers and you don't have good air movement in the job. Another thing that's really important is that we're keeping the temperature as close to 72 as you can. I know that's kind of, it's hit or miss, but here we have fans, we have windows open, we're closing windows at night because we're already starting to drop down into the 40s, and we're going to be running heaters. So we'll close up the job, we'll put heaters in here, and then that way we're making sure everything's drying and completely dry before we move on to the next coat. Another thing to think about is, getting some air movement going on. You don't want everything just to be sitting there stale and just sitting wet and not having any movement. So some things to keep in mind: humidity, keep it low; temperature, keep around 72 degrees, and get your air movement so you get everything drying, so then you have a better product in the end.